All life on Earth comes from water. Without water, there is no life. And it flows in an endless cycle. Lake Wolfgang in Austria's Salzkammergut region is one of the most beautiful places in the world. At the edge of the lake lies the White Horse Inn, made famous in the operetta of the same name. The hotel's heating system had grown bit by bit over the years. The various metal alloys had a detrimental effect on the water in the closed system. But after years of research, a surprising solution was found.
We devoted intense study to this new technology and were initially quite skeptical. So we asked people who were already using Grander water, and we got two interesting kinds of information. One kind was technical. The technical information convinced us that using Grander water for our heating water would have a huge effect with regard to calcification of the pipes and the boilers. And we saw this huge effect when we started using it at the hotel. The second information was, if you will, metaphysical or philosophical. And I think it would be quite arrogant to say that we already know everything that can be known. Water is such a fascinating element that apparently has qualities that modern-day science cannot quantify. So today we're using Grander water throughout the hotel. We use it for the indoor swimming pool, for drinking water, and for cooking. And we have had positive experiences. The quality of our heating water has improved, and there is a lot less calcification. That makes us satisfied Grander customers, and we think the investment was well worth it.
Hotel owners today have to be very careful with their money, and investments have to be justified. So the question is, when will the White Horse Inn recover the cost of the two inconspicuous devices they installed in their heating system?
Certainly in less than 5 years. We have a mixed heating system with various parts that were installed over the decades, and we really had to use a lot of chemicals to prevent pump corrosion. It makes sense to use less chemicals, which are very expensive and not good for the environment.
The use of water revitalization in the hotel swimming pool is also seen as a blessing. Regular guests who've been coming for years notice that the water is now softer and more pleasant. Burning eyes and irritated skin are a thing of the past. Swimmers remain in the water considerably longer than they used to. The hotel's spa manager, Nina Unterberger, is enthusiastic about it.
We use it heavily in our wellness facility, in the oasis of the senses, in the indoor swimming pool. We also have it in the drinking fountain, and we have a vitamin bar that offers various kinds of tea and, in particular, Grander water. And it is very popular.
Und wird eigentlich sehr gut angenommen.
Of course it's difficult. There are many things in nature that can't be directly demonstrated and that we can't yet prove with our scientific methods. But at the end of the day, you still have to accept that they exist. And that's exactly the way it is with Grander water. It makes people feel good, it's healthy, and it's natural. You don't always have to scientifically prove something for it to have a positive effect.
The so-called water revitalization invented by Johann Grander from the Austrian Tyrol has been around for 15 years. Grander technology works with revitalized water that apparently can impart its quality to other water, and innkeeper Helmut Peter has made another discovery as well.
Breweries are incredibly sensitive about their water because the best beer is made with nothing but hops, malt, and water. And these breweries have told us that Grander water improves their product and puts less stress on their equipment. And so we said, if they're doing it, then White Horse Inn can do it too.
Georg Deil has brewing in his bones. He was one of the first to experiment with revitalized water at his small private brewery at Osterberg in southern Germany. Water quality is of critical importance in making good beer. Is there a difference between beer made with water that has been revitalized and water that hasn't? Georg Deil wanted to get the answer from the State Testing Institute in Munich.
Immer wenn wir eine Sorte gewechselt haben, haben wir
Every time we switched from bottling one beverage to another, we used a bypass and a small pipe to fill the bottling machine with the new beverage. Then we sent these bottles to the local state testing and research institute to have them tested.
ohne dass Weihenstephan wusste, die staatliche
We also sent normal samples for comparison without the Institute knowing about it. When they tested samples of revitalized beer and revitalized soft drinks, the test results were clearly better.
besser beurteilt worden. Dann, ja, bei den alkoholfreien Getränke ist man noch.
And in the case of soft drinks, I noticed something else. In the carbonated soft drinks, the taste is much smoother and the bubbles are much smaller. Taken together, this makes our carbonated soft drinks far more palatable.
Und dadurch ist die Bekömmlichkeit unserer alkoholfreien Getränke sehr viel höher.
The Bassi family produces cheese in Milan. Since they started using the Grander method to revitalize the milk, Bassi's cheese has a more uniform and constant acidity curve. That gives the cheese a natural taste that is pleasant on the palate and leaves no aftertaste.
I was really surprised at first, and I couldn't believe it at all because it seemed impossible from a logical point of view. I didn't think it was possible for something like that to work. From the very first time we used the Grander system, we found an improvement in the production of our milk and cheese. The bacteriological properties were a lot better too. The cheese and milk have more flavor and a better taste. The product is completely different from the way it was in the past.
Experts taking part in special tasting sessions noticed the difference immediately. In Hohenems, in Austria's westernmost province of Vorarlberg, the Dolce Vita ice cream parlor makes everything on the premises, from the cone itself to its delicious contents. It takes a lot of skill to make good ice cream. That's what gives it the wonderful taste, and the best ice cream makers are often reluctant to reveal their recipes. But one thing is clear. In making good ice cream, water quality plays a decisive role.
Last year, a newspaper conducted a survey on the quality of ice cream sold in Vorarlberg's ice cream parlors, and we got the top score, 9.7 out of 10 points. And Grander technology was certainly at least partly responsible. I found out about it from a friend who recommended that I try it. I was impressed with what he showed me and decided to install Grander in my home. After this first success, it seemed to make sense to try it out in the production of ice cream in my business. I would call the results sensational. Straight after installing the Grander device, our volume rose by between 15 and 20% depending on the flavor. That means we got more ice cream from the same amount of ingredients, and so we had to reduce the quantity of ingredients. Our ice cream became fluffier and softer. It incorporated more air, and the quality of the ice cream improved. The texture in the mouth improved amazingly, and people are now saying that we have the best ice cream in the land.
Und drum sagt man, dass wir das beste Eis im Land haben.
Pancakes as far as the eye can see. The Meister Frost company specializes in mass production of desserts that are sold frozen. While a good cook can never be replaced by a machine, the company keeps a sharp eye on quality.
Here we produce 3 tons of sliced pancakes for soup, a ton of Topfenstrudel, and about 30,000 cottage cheese pancakes. Since we started using Grander water, we have found that our products are simply easier to prepare. The dough is fluffier and easier to work. We used to have trouble producing puff pastry, but with Grander water, it is a lot easier to prepare. Our strudel has also improved, and our sales have increased. It's all very positive.
In Spain, Grander technology has been used for a relatively short time, but the advantages of using revitalized water have been getting around faster in this sunny country than in almost any other nation. Spain supplies the rest of Europe with fresh fruits and vegetables, even in the dead of winter, and the plants are carefully managed. The Herrero family's 10-acre avocado plantation in Vélez Málaga has trees that are decades old. Irrigation has been a constant and difficult problem.
En este tanque echamos ácido nítrico para lo que es la limpieza de tuberías y la cal.
This tank used to hold the nitric acid that we used for cleaning the water pipes. We had a big problem with calcium in the water. That's why we used nitric acid. But since we started using Grander, we haven't needed the acid at all.
Solíamos cada año desmontarlo todo y meterlo en un recipiente de miel con ácido nítrico para que se lavara. Y durante el tiempo de riego,
We used to have to take the pipes apart once a year and put the individual pieces into a container of nitric acid. During irrigation, we had to use a needle to get the calcium out of the pipes. In the course of only 2 weeks, about 10% of the pipes got blocked up. I used to make an inspection tour of the whole farm every 2 weeks because there were always some trees that weren't getting any water. That no longer happens. We still have problems with sand in the well, but we no longer have any problems with calcium.
Entonces cada 2 semanas tenía que dar una vuelta a toda la finca porque había algunos árboles que no regaban. Y ahora pues no, ahora hay alguno que se atora, pero es por tema de la arena, del pozo de arena. Ahora ya problema de cal no tenemos ninguno.
The earlier the harvest, the higher the price that the markets will pay.
One
experience we've had since we installed the Grander device is that the fruit reaches the right size for picking 2 months earlier than it used to. We were never able to harvest avocados here before March or April. Last year, we started harvesting them in December. That's between 2 and 2.5 months earlier than before we got Grander, and the fruit is bigger than before as well. Both the quantity and the quality have improved. The harvest is heavier, and we get lots more avocados as well. The first thing we noticed was that the avocados got bigger much earlier, and of course, because they're bigger, we are very competitive with the price. Avocados have to weigh 180 grams to be worth anything. The ones that weigh less than 180 grams are hardly worth harvesting. It takes a lot of skill to grow them the right size, and because we get the size we need earlier, we get a better price for them.
The Austrian organic farmer Alexander Moore confirms the Spanish experience with better plant growth.
When it comes to growth, you normally expect the plants to develop in a certain period of time. But Grander has changed all that. All the young plants develop much faster, and the plant physiology is stronger. Peppers are likely to drop their flowers when the temperature rises above a certain point. For both amateur gardeners and professionals, that means lower yields. But because of the water, the peppers are so well balanced that they don't drop their flowers, and extreme growth spurts seem to be pre-programmed. This year, I've cut them back sharply twice now, and they put out strong new shoots and continue to bloom with renewed vigor.
Grander technology has also become established in another completely different range of applications in recent years. More and more swimming pool operators in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland are equipping their pools with Grander technology. Their experience, reduced use of chlorine, better water quality, and fewer skin problems.
Before, we really had a problem with algae on the edge of the pool and in the pool itself. And we also had a heavy buildup of calcium deposits on our glass measuring equipment. But that's no longer the case.